I ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, had me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what.
Hello, welcome to the spot. My name is Tiffany.
I'm LaWanda.
I'm Ron.
And we have a friend of the show, special guest, Utopia from She's Got Flavor.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me.
You guys have seen her before. She's been here for our power recaps and the shy recaps and stuff. So she is a friend of the show. Tiara's out this week. But if you hang with us for just a minute, we'll be right back and we'll get right into PowerBook for storm clouds.
It's more like I don't even know where I am. Ooh, baby, get hyped to the beat. Let's go, cause this is our jam. This is our jam.
Okay, everyone, we're back and we're ready to recap PowerBook for Force, episode 4, Storm Clouds. And we just want to get right into it. This episode starts off with Gloria and Tommy getting it in at her house, it looks like. And he says to her, like, I'm gonna need some Gatorade.
Right.
She hit him up with some good old Chicago tap water.
Yes.
And she took a sip first.
Well, yeah, I started to say it wouldn't give it to him first. She had to take a sip. Made him, that's crazy. But hey, I like this. No,
it's cute. It's cute.
Yeah.
They're cute and stuff. So, they went right from that to the next scene with Jannard and Elijah meeting at the barbershop, diamond shop, scheming, which I think.
In some ways, I like Jannard. I like the fact that I learned something about Jannard too, because we didn't understand before, what that rift is between he and Diamond, but now I fully get it. He had plans to do other things. He wanted to go to college and what have you, but his brother goes to jail and he takes over. And so I can imagine and I understand why he feels he has a right to the throne in the fashion that he does. I'm not too keen with how he plans to take it, because you are brothers and you would think you'd want to work together as opposed to having that rift, but he's chosen his path. Not much we can do.
But that's right, is what you said. He made a choice. He still could have went to school. He chose to keep that business alive.
Exactly.
Thank you. That's what I said to my son, because I read the character description and it said something like he had gotten into Brown University. So clearly he's really smart. And I think he had a scholarship to play baseball or something. And I feel like you do, LaWanda. I feel like you chose that. Because I'd have been like, no, well, if Diamond had gone to jail, put some money on your books. I'm going to school. I'm still doing what I got to do. You didn't have to take that. And now that he's made that his issue against Diamond, I'm like, not feeling that.
Well, I mean, I think that his jealousy and hatred towards Tommy is going to be what is going to make it reckless. Because it's going to be it's his brother, and he's, trying to stay on the throne and all that. But it reminds me of the issue with Tariq and how, it was a constant, but Tariq,
Oh, with Kane?
With Kane, right. And so it's, to me, I kind of see the same thing. He's like looking at Tommy, he's jealous of him. He's thinking that that's really the only reason Diamond is tripping, even though he knows Diamond has changed. His mindset has changed from being in jail. And so, I just think that at some point, his vengeance or his eagerness to get rid of Tommy is going to make it reckless. And I don't know what that is, but I see that coming.
Yeah, and to go along with that, I think he underestimates Tommy a lot. He thinks because Tommy's a white boy, and he's from, New York, he doesn't know what he's doing. But I mean, if he really wants to go, go and get what he wants, what everybody wants, they want that paper, he really needs to deal with Tommy, because Tommy seems to have an avenue as to which direction to go. If Tommy hadn't come to town, they'd be doing the same old things, and getting nowhere.
Right. That's a
And
good
it
point.
looks like Jannard had this expectation because he stayed there and continued the business that things were going to continue when Diamond got out, without thinking that maybe Diamond would change, that 15 years in prison might change you to the point that you don't want to do anything to go back. And so I think he had this expectation that they were going to be partners in crime. And this situation is not turning out like that.
But one of the things, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, what's it's amazing to me. I always look for these little, I'm looking for nuggets, right? And so the show was actually showing us that people do go into jail and change. Like, even though, he's kind of still in the environment and okay, yeah, I might have to, run, but his mindset, he wants to do better. He thinks differently. And so to me, that whole rehabilitation, is it possible? Can people really change? Can people be criminal-like and really come out and change? I found that little nugget in there.
Yeah, I agree with you, because one of the reasons why I like Diamond in the first place, you can see that he had made an impression even when he was in jail. Like, even the guards and stuff, when he was getting out, they saved up, get him his own clippers and stuff. So you can tell that, that he had changed.
Yeah, and he gave up his Jordans. I mean, how many people would do that? He gave up his Jordans.
Right.
Not I.
And it's really, I mean, it's snowy. It's snow on the ground. And he's going to give up his shoes. Of course, he got something in kind, but that should tell you something. And then something else would say, well, did his brother really visit him in jail? Because if he had, he may have heard, he may have seen the change in his brother. Because I'm sure.
But you know what? A lot of people say that when they get locked up. It's one thing to hear it and stuff, but to actually see it.
Well, I'm saying,
because some people,
that's true. But
I know some people who've been locked and then they said stuff,
right,
and then come home and do the same stuff.
That's
but
true.
One thing that Jannard.
But what I'm trying to say is, Jannard acts like he didn't know that his brother had changed, and so. This is,
he didn't know, he was in denial.
Well, I don't know. It's kind of hard to make that distinction, and it could be that he's in denial. I know he's in denial because he doesn't want his brother to change. Right. But I think that 15 years is a long time, and if you're visiting your brother over a 15-year period, you should have known what he wanted versus what he didn't want coming out of jail. As you said, Tiffany, people say it, but you don't know till you know. But you have to at least give him. You have to give him enough rope to say, okay, is this what he really wants? And Jannard didn't do that from the jump. Jannard was like, okay, it's me. What you can do is take a backseat to me. Jannard never gave him a chance.
Well, one of the things I would say is that even though what Jannard is saying, maybe his anger is misplaced with Tommy about Diamond. I feel like one thing he said to Diamond was right when he told him, like, you need to make a choice. Because Diamond said when he came out, it seemed that he was trying to go straight.
Right.
But he is making moves with Tommy and everything as if he
Make
still
up your
wants,
mind. Right.
like he still is the head of CBI. So you either all in or you out. Right. And so that statement from Jannard was actually right. Like, Diamond does need to make a choice.
100%.
True, but is it more so about direction? Like, he didn't want to mess with the young kids because he was like, it's just going to be senseless violence, that they don't operate by a code, at least not one that we recognize. And I think it's already been in a very dangerous situation that can send you back to jail, but it's very unpredictable when you have people you can't control, who have no code, who don't think, who are not strategic, who are reactionary. And that's what he sees in those young people, because I'm thinking, even though Jannard is the person that you're running with, for them to be so disrespectful of Diamond and listen to them, that to me is concerning.
That is concerning, because regardless of whether Jannard is at the helm or not, Diamond is his brother. And Elisa, even Elijah said, like, when they were meeting at the barbershop, he was like, you sure we're gonna do this? Because he's the OG. So people still do respect Diamond as the OG and stuff. So those kids are reckless. And speaking of those kids, did you guys recognize that, we know D-Mac. We know who D-Mac is and stuff, and we'll get to that. But the other little boy that's running with him, with D-Mac, did y'all recognize that he's the same dude that shot Ronnie in The Shy? Your namesake, Ron.
Oh no, I didn't remember that.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
that's the same
Yeah,
kid.
from a different show. That's the same
Okay.
kid. So
Okay.
he's just reckless in both shows.
I guess he played it well.
And
He
he happened
played it
to-
well.
And you had to bring up that he has my namesake. I
Right.
got
Because Ron was butthurt when Ronnie got killed. He was. And that's the same dude, Ron.
Okay.
So I know now when you see him on screen, you're gonna feel away. But
Thanks for the reminder.
but that barbershop scene that Elijah and Jannard was talking and everything, we saw D-Mac comes in. And Jannard is telling him to round up some smart dudes and stuff. I'm like, yeah, okay, we see where this is going.
That's an oxymoron.
Huh?
I said that's an oxymoron.
Yeah. And so we'll talk more about D-Mac later because we'll see how that comes to play with JP, because we all know where this is leading. We know, even though it has not been said, we know that D-Mac is JP's son.
Right.
And stuff. And we saw that Lilliana stopped by to see Tommy, and she brought some product. And wait a minute.
No,
I'm looking at my notes. Tommy asked Lilliana to follow Claudia.
Right.
Right.
Well, let's talk about Liliani, or Liliani, whatever her name is. Okay. I like her in some respects, and it's funny how Jannard so she obviously been working with Jannard, or has known Jannard for some time. And Jannard seems like he's taking a little weakness to her. But this scene where she gets, she goes home and the Serbs are waiting for her in her apartment. And we talked about this an episode or two ago. You can't have all those drugs, all that coke in your house, and it not belong to somebody when you don't have that kind of paper to pay.
That's what Tommy said.
That's exactly.
Tommy said that somebody was coming for it.
Exactly. And so I was a little disappointed in the sense of how it ended. I mean, disappointed in the framework that typically, I don't know if they would have just slit her throat right in the house. But
they wanted the
drugs.
They wanted the drugs back first. They said to each other, they said, once we get it, we're gonna kill her.
Yeah. And
Can I just say this? Because there's always and I have a couple, but she has become one of my favorite characters because she is a boss. She started. Think about where she came from. Before she was just like a little common runner and now she's a boss. Did you see when she killed that dude, stabbed him in his neck?
She
like
did.
It ain't nothing. And when she was taking the burn, and then she wasn't messing with her eyes, but when she was taking the burns, I mean, she took a lot.
She's a G.
Oh, she's a G.
Even then,
she didn't give it up.
Still didn't give Tommy up, and even then, she still did. And even who was it?
Jannard.
Jannard said, "Yeah, he's gonna have to die." She was like, "Yeah, that's not gonna happen."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, she a boss."
She's a G.
I was hoping.
I was thinking before the show, I was like, how we always put people on their hands.
Yes.
On our show and stuff, and we still gonna do that. We gotta talk about who we gonna put in the hands this week. I thought about us having like a spot game ball, kind of like an MVP for who gets the spot game ball this week. And I was torn between Lilliana because she was a G. I almost didn't want to give it to her though because because it was her fault that everything went down in the first place. It was her fault. But I kind of was impressed with Vic this week. Vic stood. You told me, I see your face. I've been calling him a punk since the show started, and I call him a punk because he wants to run off with Gloria, like he hadn't been man enough to stand up for her and stuff. So that's why a lot of the reason why I call him a punk. But he stood tall with Tommy in the fight with the Serbs. I mean, at the end, and even last week when they pulled up on the dude that was tweaking, he stood tall. He took him out and stuff. So I was like, I was torn between giving a spot game ball to him or Lilliana.
Well, he manned up to his dad too. So, and I like what he said to his dad. It was a sense of, if I leave, then I'm not a man. And if I stay, I'm a boy. And so, he manned up. So I agree.
He spoke his piece.
Yeah, I agree. He's out of the hands list this week, as far as I'm concerned. But,
yeah, he's not on the hands list. But does he get the game ball? Should
I think it's
Lilliana get it?
temporary.
no, I think Lilliana might get the game ball.
I'm giving it to Lilliana.
She's
Yeah.
a G. She's a G. I like Lilliana too. I'm afraid. I hope nothing happens to her, since we all
I think
know
she's going to be around.
Okay,
I think she's
so
going to be around.
now y'all got my head spinning. So now I got to create a game ball.
besides the hands.
Yeah,
Yep.
besides the hands, I'm gonna create some kind of spot game ball so that when we mention it, we'll just we'll show it. So, yeah.
I don't know, Tiffany. I think you're right about Vic. He's inconsistent to me. So I think he just had a good day today. I don't see
He
it.
probably, yeah, he did. He is inconsistent, because I said I feel a way that he ain't, man enough to stand up for her. Like, he in her face, he want her to, but
But he's got, I mean, come on, guys.
But he has Ireland. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, he can't just, that is his dad. I mean, theoretically, it's his business when his dad dies. So, he
has to worry about a country, but then he can't be mad if she move on,
But,
because
also,
we don't got time to be waiting on shore balance. I mean,
but also,
that's just what it is.
I appreciate the fact of he came, when he stepped to Tommy about Gloria and said, yeah, I know you're doing her. I want to use another term, but I'll use that, we are
Right.
so, but, I know you're doing her, but, as he said, I put aside my feelings for the paper.
For business. Mm-hmm.
So I appreciated that, because that at least lets me know that he has his head on, right.
Right,
So,
right. And Tommy too, because you see after that, Tommy, when he went to go see Gloria, he said, I'm gonna find another bar for him. And he stepped away from us. I said, oh, okay.
Agreed.
Tommy being kind of stand up in a way. He said business comes first.
Exactly. Put
So
the
I'm
paper
like,
first. So
all right.
So I got a lot out of this show.
That's a little bit of Tommy being protective of himself too, because his women that he opened himself up and let fall, like it didn't end too well, the last couple of times. So
Yeah.
I mean, I agree that it was him putting the paper first, but I think a little bit of it was him being protective of himself as well.
Oh yeah, guarding his heart, of course, because he still, he ain't over Keisha, even though, he
Or
physically
Howard, for that
moved
matter.
on real quick.
Yeah, you almost had a baby.
Even the first time in the bar, remember when he approached Gloria, he said something about, oh, so you have a friend or something to that effect, and she said, well, yeah, I told you that there was someone.
No,
So-
you're right. Well, she
Right.
tried to tell him first,
Tried to
and
tell
he
him
cut
first.
her off.
Right, and he admitted it in the bar. So yes, and that showed me that he had, there's some feelings there with Gloria, and so stepping away is really it's a twofer. It helps him and it helps her at the same time.
Right, that's my point.
He's trying not to get her killed.
Exactly.
Yeah, I do believe that too. But she already in the mix. I mean,
Yes,
if she's dealing,
I don't
she's
understand
dealing-
her.
you said what?
I said, I don't understand. Well, maybe she didn't know about Tommy and them, but I don't know. She knew what kind of dude Tommy was, though. It looked like she looks for that type of dude. Because remember when they first got together, he was out back and broke the guy's arm and all that. So she knew what she was dealing with.
Well, she said, she said
And didn't she see Tommy? She saw Tommy with Vic at one point.
she was watching him out the window. She
Watching
saw.
him out the
That's why I
window.
said that would have been. I was like, Vic was gonna go in there and say,
Exactly.
let's come in and have a drink with her and make it awkward for her.
Mhm.
Yeah, I ain't like that.
I ain't like that either. I was like, that's some F-boy stuff.
It was good for him. It was good for him to let Tommy know he knew that was cool, but
Right.
to involve her and to make it hot for her, I didn't
like that either. I was like, okay, so if Tommy ain't stopped and stuff, you would have wanted to go in there and have a drink and make it awkward with two of her boo things there. Yeah, I was like, you punk. Yeah, I take it back. He don't deserve the game ball. I take it back.
Come on, look, I get it. I get both angles. I mean, as far as she's concerned, she's torn between two men. Well, I don't even think she's torn. I think she likes Tommy. And I think she would give Tommy, I would think she would give Tommy the nod before she would Vic. I think she's in.
No, I think she still loves Vic because there's a history there. But she recognizes that she can't be with him because of the family. But I do think that she's starting to have feelings for Tommy.
Look, you can't love Vic and give me some scenes like you gave me in that first.
Yes, you can.
Opening.
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
Okay, you talking. I've been trying to tell Ron before. I told him in another show that we had. I was like, he think that just because that women got to be in love too.
Look, I go on how y'all tell us when we do stuff like that. How back, how.
But y'all built differently than us. Y'all built differently than us. Y'all feelings don't have to be tied, and not all women's feelings have to be tied. I know that
feelings are tied.
Not all women.
No, and we're getting to that. We're getting to that. And just to answer your question, yes, our feelings are tied, and you can see that between the two of them, between Tommy and see, yeah, you know what? I'll never win this argument, okay? And I realize that. And now that I'm on with three women, I know my numbers are short. But I'm gonna tell you right now. Yes, we do get involved with our feelings. Any brothers out there that agree with me, please hit me up. Hit us up at the end.
Okay. Yeah. But anyway, we were talking about Lilliana. I want to go back to Lilliana for a minute because Tommy told her to follow Claude.
Right.
And Claude is making moves.
Yeah,
she's making moves. She pulled up on the family friend. I can't remember dude's name, but I know that that he said that she's like a little sister, and she showed him the product, and he wants to get down on the product, and she told him he could, but can't let daddy and brother know. So she making moves, and she even making moves with her little girlfriend Mai. The one thing I did not like how they extorted the sister though, the chemist.
Dahlia. Yeah,
Dahlia. Like they had her come over there and basically is going to force her to continue cooking.
They had to though. Right. They didn't have a choice.
They didn't have a choice.
They don't have a product without her.
Oh, I know that. I'm just pissed that they had to extort the sister to do it. That's why I was just like, no, they're not extorting the sister.
Well, you know what?
That's what I took umbrage with.
I was actually, and maybe I've watched too many of these gangster type shows, but I was hoping for some violence, like not violence, but like some threats, like, the extortion and all that. You can lose your license and that. I wanted Claudia to boss up, like she making real boss moves. And so, in my head, I was thinking, oh my God, what if Lilliana and Claudia got together? Like Lilliana be that beast and then Claudia be the brains, but that's just another cloud story for me. But I was looking for more, like Claudia is making boss moves because she's real smart, but does she have the ability to make a move when she wants to? Because think about it, even with Ghost was very calculated and smart with his stuff, but when it came down to get down, he knew how to get down.
He knew how to get down, right?
That's going to be the difference, I think, between Vic and Claudia, because it's going to be something's going to clash with those two. We just don't know.
I don't know how. I don't know how deadly she is. We have to figure out her method, but I do believe she's deadly.
I think she is too.
Because you think so? Because I'm waiting on it.
The way she was talking to the girl, Mai and stuff, I was like, oh, Mai might come up missing.
Yeah, but here's the problem. Here's the problem with that, and I kind of agree with Utopia because of the fact that we don't know anything about Claudia. She's very green in the. Can she take a body? Will she start killing folk? Doubt it. I didn't like the way, just like you said. I didn't like the way she approached Dahlia because my thing is, you got to get some ammo for your own defense, but I think she could have done some more recon about Dahlia, find out who she is, and even working with Maya, because Maya doesn't seem to be all in with what Claudia is trying to do. In fact, she feels more like she's forced in as opposed to having a spot. I don't think Maya actually trusts Claudia.
what it is she said that Claudia is calling the shots, and she said, I thought we were gonna be partners.
There's
Right.
a problem.
And so she made a comment like, oh, which
Now you
Flynn
the
am I
boss?
working with? Because
That's a
she's
problem.
telling Maya what to do instead of this being a partnership.
And therein lies the problem.
Mm-hmm. That's why I kind of feel like I don't know if it's gonna happen or not, but I kind of feel like Maya is not long for this world.
Yeah, I feel like Claudia is the type of person to poison you or give you some spiked drugs or something.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but
So
I do think
that
she's
kind
good.
of death, like not
Yeah.
necessarily a violent, but she'll take you out somehow.
Yeah,
I can see that. I
agree.
can see that.
But what about Walter Flynn himself? I mean, now Walter has his daughter and his son stepping out on him, and he is unaware of the moves that they're trying to make. He kind of sniffed out Vic.
Yeah, he's aware what Vic did.
Right. But now his daughter. So what do you think happens to Walter once he finds out that his daughter and Vic are out from under him now? What happens? What happens to that team?
I think Walter is, I don't think he's gonna make it through the season, to be honest. I mean, I know he's already sick, but I can see somebody taking him out. I wonder if it would be one of them.
Yeah.
You know,
her, but well, you know what? I take that back. I think it would be her because she's had enough of his SHIT anyway.
and because she's sick of men telling her what to do.
Yeah.
And stuff and everything. And she doesn't know that he's sick. I mean, I don't know. I can see one of them. It may not be Vic, it might be her. Somebody, he might be put out of misery. I'll say that.
You know what? They also introduced what is Flynn's assistant name? They introduced his son.
Polly.
The
story.
Andrew.
Too.
Andrew is the son. So that was interesting.
That was Andre.
I'm sorry.
No, it was Andrew.
No, it's Andrew.
No, Andre. I can't remember.
Andrew.
One or the other.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think black folks say Andre, and I think white folks say Andrew.
I think that's what I heard you say, Andre. That's because I thought it was interesting because Anyway.
I wonder where they're going with that because they just introduced it out of nowhere. So I wonder where they're going with that. It's something's going to happen to the son, or there's going to be a weakness for him.
Well, I see the weakness definitely because he did give him money, knowing what he's going to do with the money. So it's interesting how they wove that into the line of things.
But it humanized Paulie for me.
Well, that's true. And
it humanized Paulie for me, and it made me feel like, okay, maybe that's one of the reasons why they don't want to do the coke, because Walter Flynn and them, they do the pills, and they don't want to do coke and everything, and they don't want to change and stuff. And I was wondering, I said, I wonder if it has anything to do, when I saw the son, if it has anything to do with him, what's going on with him, because not only is he homeless, clearly he has an addiction.
Yeah, but I don't know whether it's coke or pills. An addict is an addict.
An addict, right.
And it wouldn't matter which thing he's stuck on. It's going to it's cause and effect. It's still going to have the same effect. So I don't know, but I agree with you. It humanized Paulie, and so now where do we go from here? We see that he has has a heart, and he loves his son. So let's see where it picks up from here, because initially we just saw him wanting to get rid of Tommy. So we'll see.
Yeah, and they introduced it for a reason.
Yeah,
they did.
We just don't know what that is.
They did introduce it for a reason.
Yeah, it's going to come back.
I wonder if your spotters have any ideas what they think the reason, like why all of a sudden out the blue,
They got plenty, and wait till you read the.
Wait till they usually have some good ideas. They're on it. Our spotters are on it. What did y'all think of the scene when Tommy went to the diner to meet Diamond, and the owners were like they're shaking them down, like, you just gonna come to the diner and order some coffee?
Coffee. So what do you think this is? Starbucks? I mean, I liked it. I
did too. Yeah. And then when Vic came in and did the same thing.
Yeah, that was funny.
That was cute. And it shows too, though, how you have, or at least back in the day, you used to have these mom and pop stores, and even though there was a lot of drugs and violence, they were not scared. They were like, look, don't do this in my establishments, and what you doing? You know, they'll just talk to him like, you know, they just talk to him. And I really like that kind of old school feel that they brought into that. Because as you can see, you know, Tommy gave him respect. It's not like he came back at him like he normally would anybody else. You know, he gave him his respect. I thought that was good.
And plus they were giving some history about Diamond. Like they were giving Diamond that respect, you know, that, you know, you sitting with, this is the champ. Like, and giving some history of Diamond. So the more I hear about Diamond, the more I like his character. And I was like, man, I hope he don't get killed. As soon as you get invested in a character, they out of here.
The only thing I think that kind of swayed me with Diamond, not much. I mean, I don't even think it's measurable, but when he realized that Tommy was up against the Serbs, you know, he said, you know, yeah, I owe you one, but on this, I'm out. And yet Vic had to step up and help out Tommy. I know I kind of get, well, no, not kind of get, I understand fully why he did it, but a debt is a debt. And, you know, I'm not sure if he backed.
Well, why do you think he said no? Why do you think he said no?
For his own personal, you know, as far as
it was right on the heels of that conversation with Jannard. When Jannard said to him, you know, you need to make a decision and stuff. And I think in that moment,
but that's the whole point. You can't be a G and not be a G at the same time. You can't be in the business and not in the business at the same time. You know, it took Ghost a while to be Ghost. But even like you bring up all the time, Tiffany, Ghost will do whatever he has to do, good, bad, or indifferent. So, you know, Tommy has been up against the Serbs before. I understand that Diamond doesn't, you know, he doesn't know them. He doesn't know them like Tommy does. And so I can see why he stepped back. But if you got somebody's back, you either got it or you don't. You can't have it.
Tommy ain't fresh out the bank.
No, he's not.
He draws the line at killing. He's just drawing the line there. And I think
you're in the wrong business then. Stay with the barbershop. You know, you can't, because I'm telling you, you can't be where he is and making the moves that he's making and not drop a body or two. You just got to pick and choose at what point you do it.
I think it's always this, I don't know if it's a fool's errand of people who want to be in that life and think they can be in that life without it being violent.
Yes,
and I think it could be, that's the idea. But when you are surrounded by so many people who don't have and are trying to get, that's what makes it violent. You know, that's what makes it people being desperate or feeling desperate or, you know, and eager to take the next man's spot so they can have what they think the other person has. Because you see that a lot in these about people, I just want to make enough to get out. I just want to make enough to be comfortable. And it's almost one of those things where you just have to decide that I'm going to make it and I'm going to let y'all do that over there. There's no halfway in, there's no halfway out. And I think for Diamond, it's like he wants to hold on to that OG status. But I don't know if he knows how to do that without being in the game in some form or other. Can he still garner the respect if he's not somehow involved in the business? Other people do it, but they turn it around and be like, maybe he'd have to be like, become like a community leader or one of those scared straight type brothers or dudes or something. And I think the other thing is, if he's halfway in, he can look after Jannard, because I think he may also be a little bit concerned that the way Jannard is moving he's going to take himself out early.
I agree with that.
I definitely think that, because he was protecting him even when he was in the Bing, because that's how he got the beef for Rojas, because he said that he told Tommy that they were moving on Jannard and stuff. So he's been protecting Jannard his whole life. So I think you're right about that. I think he kind of feels like he got to have like one foot in because he has to protect his brother.
Did him saying no to the Serbs make him look weak to you?
Yes. Not saying
no partial to people who want to change.
Not saying no to the Serbs, but if I owe you a debt, particularly you know, like a life debt or something to that effect, if I owe you a debt and you got trouble, I owe the debt. Simple as that.
He said he was going to pay it, just not on that one.
Right.
When the
now,
debt
do you think Tommy looked at him as weak? because he said no, or he
I
just
don't
was
think
like,
so.
I don't think Tommy did,
Tommy
though.
understood. I think
Right.
Tommy understood. But I'm just simply saying, when you owe that debt and the debt comes due, you can't really decide at what point you're going to pay it. You know, you either pay it when it's due or not.
I think ultimately he is going to pay it. I believe Diamond is going to stand tall when it comes, because this ain't over.
No,
Oh, no.
This is not over.
when he was with Tatiana and they were about to kill Tommy, and we saw, you know, those two shots ring out. I actually thought it was.
But it was Vic. Vic
Yeah,
stood
it
tall.
turned out to be Vic, but I actually thought it would have, you know, that it was Diamond, and I was kind of hoping that it was Diamond.
Yeah,
I
but it was
would-
Vic, and Tommy told him, he was like, "Now you can get a cookie,"
Right.
which was
I thought that
cute.
line was funny.
I thought it was too, because you know we saw earlier Vic tried to take a cookie off his plate, and
Right.
Tommy slapped his hand, which I would have done too. Don't take food on my plate. Don't do that.
Also, he's counting bodies, and when he said to Tatiana, "Now I'm up 6-0," and then once he killed Tatiana, I wrote in my notes 7-0.
True.
Well, you know what?
And her boss is coming next, though.
Yeah, that's why I said this ain't over, because
Oh, no.
now that he killed them, now this is war. And the thing is, she wrote her own death certificate when she started running her mouth. We was talking about calling New York
Yeah.
and everything, and you know he's not trying to let anybody know that he's still alive in New York. So that finished it for her.
Right.
You know.
Well,
And
and speaking of debt, I don't think it's any longer a debt anymore. I think it's more of a contractual arrangement, because if Tommy, Vic, and Diamond do come together, and the Serbs come at Tommy, now you're not just coming after Tommy, you're coming after what this organization that they're building. So, you know, debt owed, debt due, debt paid, I don't know. He'll have no choice but to defend himself with you know, along the side of Tommy, because they're in business
yeah,
together.
I mean, that's what I said. I think he's gonna have an opportunity to stand tall. I do believe that.
But you know, it reminds me of his relationship. It's going to be very similar to the relationship he had with Ghost. It's somebody that's on the fence, somebody that's there when it's in their best interest, but still looking out for what they really want in life. And so that's something Tommy's going to have to, I don't know, it's the same thing to me. You know, he's building a relationship with somebody who is not completely in, and he has to be mindful of that. And you can't force somebody, whether they owe you a debt or not, you can't force somebody to do something they don't want to do.
But
That's true.
As we know, Ghost would never back down from a fight, particularly if it's taking care of Tommy.
But he's
No,
not
but
gonna
he did
start,
what he
he's not
had
gonna
to
start
do.
a fight with him either.
That's right. You know that there were times that that Ghost was trying to avoid a war.
Oh
And
yeah,
stuff. And he was like, I got this going on and stuff.
Right.
We can't have you going to war. So you know that Ghost did things to try to head off
oh
a
yeah,
war.
he's always tried to bring, you know, Tommy over to that narrow line, that straight line. But Tommy, you know, he's rogue. He'll do
He's
whatever.
reckless.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
you know, so I think that there. Look, I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on Diamond.
No, but I think he's thinking a little more this series. I think he's learned some things from Ghost and everything, because I mean he picked up on Liliana's clue. You know, when Liliana got snatched and everything, she texted him while he was at JP's meeting with JP's father. We'll get into that too. But she texted him and said, you know, like, bring Ghost. So he knew automatically that something was amiss, because you know. And he came through like those too with the Serbs. As soon as the guy read the text, I'm like, who's Ghost?
Boop, boop.
It was lights out. It was lights out. And then Liliana went to work on the other one with the staff. I was like, man, she's a G.
Well, hey, that's what I mean by being in the business. She's a perfect example of someone being in the business and doing what they got to do. She didn't take 2 seconds.
No, she ain't hesitate. And the thing is this, with Diamond doesn't even know that his brother's an op, because that whole thing when Diamond and Tommy and Vic went to go meet with the Yardis, and then Elijah called and said the cops are coming, they were tipped off and stuff. I believe Jannard and Elijah tipped the cops off.
I was wondering about that. Yeah.
I think they did. Because they're trying to, You remember Jannard is trying to undermine Diamond's leadership. So he's like, remember he said eventually everybody is going to come to my side. So he is doing some stuff behind the scenes. He tipped them off.
But think about this. Why tip him off? Send him back to jail. Because once you're out of jail, you got, you're on pro. And had he been caught even if they just caught them talking, he'd have gone back to jail.
I don't think he wants Diamond to go back to jail. He wants his brother there. He wants him, first of all, he wants him away from Tommy. So by doing that, that's kind of, in his way, he's thinking that that's going to prove that this is not the right way to go. Like you're listening to this white boy and, he's taking you in the wrong direction. And it kind of, etched something with, I mean, not that it was permanent, but, Tommy was like, yo, could have let me know,
Right.
He's like, okay, well, it's brought now. But I think he wants his brother there. He just wants his brother there the way he wants him to be there.
He's got a real, he has going through it because, at the same token, if you're splitting up the organization with your brother, there's going to be strife. And if you care enough about your brother, you wouldn't split the organization, because once it gets split, now, they're going after each other because they have the same territory. So who's going to come out on top? So I don't understand. I don't know if I buy that necessarily. I don't think in fact, I can see Jannard actually pulling the trigger on Diamond if he had.
You know what? I can too though. Because he just wants to be in charge so bad.
Yeah.
That I think that he would do anything at this point.
Right. And that false sense he had of giving up what he gave up for Diamond, and he's pissed off at that fact, and as you clearly pointed out, he didn't give up anything, he chose. But in his mind, I gave this up for you, and you dissing me out here and not respecting the fact that I've run this organization for 15 years. So he definitely has it out for his brother. How it happens or how he does it, I don't know.
I know. Tommy may have to intervene, and he clearly has it out for Tommy too, because one of the things that when he said to Lilliana, like when she asked for her money for doing a cut for him, he paid her, but then he was trying to pay her to kill Tommy. And I'm wondering if Lilliana is going to let Tommy know, because that's something Tommy needs to know. Like, dude is an op. Like, he was trying to give me money to take you out.
Exactly.
And I hope that she puts that bug in Tommy's ear.
And she probably won't, which is why I don't like her in the first place.
I love Lilliana.
What?
She's playing the circle. She's playing the circle. And
well, she said that ain't gonna never happen. And she did stand tall. She's been standing tall for Tommy so far.
But like she said, she's all about the money.
She did.
She did say that. She did say that.
Tommy did too.
Yeah. Well,
Tommy did too.
Well, we know Tommy's about the paper. But at least Tommy is about how, I like his methodology in getting it. She's just playing the circle. So
but he did, and Tommy still held her down with the Serbs though. Because he could have, because Tatiana was like, well, just hand over the girl.
Right.
And like, we'll be done. And he was like, nah, he did we cover Snowfall. He did a saint, like, I ain't giving up my people.
Right.
So he didn't throw Tatiana to the wolves.
You mean Lilliana?
I mean Lilliana.
Yeah.
He didn't throw Lilliana to the wolves.
No, I agree.
I wanted to talk about the son, and well, we could go back to the JP situation, and then we'll talk about the son, because Tommy met the father, and the father further confirmed that Kate ain't ish. Because like, what type of mom would abandon their child? And one of the things that I thought was interesting, and I said, Tiara's not here this week, but Tiara is really side-eyeing JP. She thinks that JP is suspect, and we'll see as time goes on. But listen to this conversation with JP's dad and Tommy. It sounds like JP is innocent. It sounds like he is because he said that JP leads with his heart and not his head. And he seems really like distrustful of Tommy. He told Tommy straight up, like, listen, this one leads with his heart, not his head. If you here to cause complications, then you best move on. And Tommy pretty much let him know, like, I'm not here for complications and stuff. And hopefully one day we'll be cool. And Dad was looking at him like, yeah, okay.
Tommy's like, well, maybe not.
Maybe not.
He said,
And-
"Your
and
Kate son, you gotta be messed up."
That's what he said. Yeah,
Right.
Kate's son. And he kind of right. Because, you know, Tommy, we love Tommy. We team Tommy, but we know Tommy is a mess.
It was funny when he asked him on a scale of 1 to 10
Right.
how messed up he is. And JP jumped in and said, yeah, he's about a 6 or 7.
Solid 6 or 7.
And I was like, Tommy knows he's an 11 out of a scale.
Yeah, okay. So they don't know Tommy
They
yet.
don't know.
I was like,
Yeah, they don't know.
they don't know. But you know, so that situation with that. And then we saw the situation with D-Mac. And D-Mac and old boy, the one we were talking about, the killer from the Shy. They put he pulled up on them and they were getting ready to shoot up JP's club again.
They
And
were. No, go ahead.
and JP comes out with the bat ready to wreck. And old boy Young Buck was getting ready to shoot him. And D-Mac shoots up in the air. Like he prevents dude from killing him. So we know that he knows that this is his dad.
I started to say.
But does he know?
I don't think
guess.
JP knows. I don't think
JP doesn't
JP
know.
recognized.
But remember,
But-
JP said that I think
He had
went
seen her
in
since
since he was a baby.
Since
So
he was
he,
two.
Years.
right. So he doesn't know, you know, although they did look quite a bit alike though. I gave him that.
Mhm.
But yeah, but D-Mac knows. D-Mac knows that that's his father.
And that's what.
It kind of made me wonder if he knew, because he did look him directly in the eye and calm down. I was like, why you keep turning up my place? Because even if he, because I mean, maybe he recognized him, maybe he doesn't, but that's still a good question. Like, okay, if I'm your father and we don't have a relationship, still, why do you keep targeting my shop? You know, it's not enough just to say that you're angry. I would still have that question too, whether he recognized him or not. Like, there are a lot of other ways you can go about this, but to keep targeting my shop doesn't make sense to me either. You know what I mean? Even if you're just angry, that I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't understand the whole thing generally. Why are they targeting the shop?
Yeah.
Does anybody have
know.
thoughts around that?
And maybe he feels like he's hitting him in the pocket, you know.
Mhm.
You know, that's some of the best ways to hurt people sometimes, to hit them in their pocket.
So
why?
you don't think it's the crew sending them to do that? That is
The protection thing.
I think it's a protection thing.
Yeah, I think it's that. Yeah.
Because JP said it. JP said early on that it wasn't money in the budget to pay people for protection.
Because D-Mac said, we're just going to light it up. We're not going to take it, and we're just going to light it up. So it must be, okay, we're going to keep doing this until you pay us for protection. And I think that's what the deal is. But honestly, I believe D-Mac knows that that's his dad.
I think he does too, because he looked really conflicted in his face,
Right.
you know, and stuff. I was like, oh, okay. You can see that he was kind of getting emotional, and then he had it out. And then when I was looking at JP's face, I was like, to me, it didn't look like he knew that was his son.
Right.
Even though he was asking the question, you know, I think he was asking as like, you know, the OG, like an older person, like, what's up? Why are you doing this? Like, you know, trying to talk to a young person.
Yeah.
And stuff. And so I think we're heading towards that come to Jesus moment, you know, when
they've got to do some explaining there, because even like Ron, you were saying about the whole payment thing, like if it was all about just getting money, then he would already know why they're hitting him up. So I don't know. I'm waiting on that one.
I think he's naive in some sense. You know, he is, I don't know how good he is in character as his father was painting him, but he does appear to be that straight type of dude that, you know, he owns a business. He just doesn't understand why they're doing what they're doing. And I think he was saying that to a young black kid, as, you know, a black man to a young black kid. I think that was the relationship he was, drawing at that instance, not so much of what he knew or what he didn't know, because I can see myself doing the same thing. But like you said, Tiffany, it's really going to be interesting when those two come together and realize who they are.
I feel like if he doesn't know that's his son, by the time they figure it out, one of them is gonna be dead or dying. I feel like
I kind of feel like that too, and I'm hoping it doesn't end up that way, because I read and something like, I think maybe it was a character description about T-Mac's character, that I think that Tommy is going to take him under his wing. So I kind of feel like it's going to be revealed somehow. It looks like we've covered just about everything. I want to know, do you guys have any predictions or any other things that y'all want to touch on that we haven't?
Well, can we tap on the young cop? So
Seamus.
yeah, so I knew it had to be or I felt like there needed to be some kind of reason why he was taking the money from Vic, because it's like he's conflicted. Like on one hand, he seemed like a really good cop, like he really want to, do some good stuff. But then on the other hand, he's taking the money. And then it was revealed in this episode that he has a sick sister. And, he can't take care of his sister without the money. And then on top of that, now Vic is saying, oh, by the way, and I'll kill you. Then who's going to take care of your sister? So I don't know. I'm really kind of conflicted with him. It's like, I feel like he wants to stop what he's doing. He wants to stop taking the money, but now he's in too deep. So I don't know. What do you guys think about him?
Well, that's interesting. It does add another layer, knowing that his sister is sick, and that's one of the reasons why he was doing it. But I didn't think he was a good cop, because I didn't like how he came up in the barbershop when Diamond first came home. I mean, he came down like he was trying to shake Diamond down when he came in there. So I was like, So he left a bad taste in my mouth from then.
You always steal my thunder.
I'm sorry.
I gotta learn to beat you first, because every time
we need a buzzer.
I know,
like Family Feud.
Because that's exactly what I was about to say. He tore me when he walked into that shop and tried to give Diamond a hard time. And from that point on, I don't see any good in this man at all.
Yeah, that's why I said I had to see. Otherwise, I was like, that did add another wrinkle for me when they mentioned the sister. I was like, okay. Yeah. So he's being blackmailed into doing this, but I didn't have a good feeling.
Well, he's not, I don't know if he's being blackmailed. I think that he probably figured out the only way I can make the money to take
is by doing this, because he can't do it on
exactly
on a cop salary.
Cop salary.
Exactly.
Well, one of the things that tickled me, that goes to show that that how much they don't know Tommy and Tommy's street cred was, when Tommy was given the background on the relationship with the Serbs to Diamond, like when he was like, yeah, this is the history and stuff, and Diamond was like, you really feeling yourself, like, and he was like, no, my partner,
you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know, like how he and Ghost used to roll, they were like,
and it's funny, and it's funny how I would think Walter by now would have really checked up on Tommy's past, found out who he was in New York, so he'd know who he's dealing with, because he really doesn't know who he's dealing with.
None of them.
None of them. They keep talking to Tommy like Tommy's just some,
because he's new to the city. That's why they don't know.
But you gotta know that the average person doesn't run like that.
I was just about to say that.
And so you gotta do your recon, because if you've done that, you would know who Tommy is, and you would either deal with him differently or not at all.
I tell you, do know the Serbs, because because in the car when Lilliana, when they were waiting for him to come with the money, the guy that got killed, he, even though he was speaking in Russian and stuff, he said Tommy Egan's name.
Right.
So I was like, so somebody knows that he's still alive in New York. They know.
You know what I felt like with Tatiana too? I was like, okay, you calling me by my government name. And now people can really do that kind of research. You know what I mean? Because Tommy, okay, fine. But when they start calling you by your whole government name, that's when people
like,
really
Thomas,
can start to do research.
Yeah, she was like, Thomas Egan. I was like, Lord.
I
And
was with him on that.
And
Like, okay,
Diamond would fare better too to do some recon on Tommy. He kind of knows who Tommy is from, back in New York. He knows the
You said
name
who? Who does?
Diamond.
Oh,
So, it would be smart for them all to go figure out who this man is that just rolls up into Chicago and creates havoc the way he's been doing. That's not common. The average guy wouldn't do that.
and my thought is, why don't they think he's a cop or that he's DEA? That's the only other thing that I would think. Like, either he's a real gangster, and then the question is, he has to be in trouble if he's here and not where he came from. Other than that, he's got to be like an informant or something, or a fed. So it's interesting to me that they all rule that part out, but then do the other background research.
Right. And you got the cop. The cop can find out information. And if I were Vic, I would have said, "Who is this white boy, Tommy Egan, or Tommy? Can you do some recon and get me some information on this guy?" But everybody's just taking him out like he's just some guy.
The feds, they're definitely getting ready to roll up on Tommy and them, because they're already watching. Clearly, whoever that was a couple episodes ago that was watching and everything, they're getting ready to find out. We probably ready to have some Fed crossover. We might see Blanca or somebody in Chicago soon.
we shall see. I still say at the end of the day, Lilliana is my girl.
Yeah. Yeah, Lilliana is proving her worth. I mean, it was her fault that the Serbs came for them this week, but Lilliana stood tall. Let's hope that she continues to be trustworthy.
Although I'm not sure she didn't know that wasn't the Serbs, though. I mean,
I'm not sure either, and I don't think Tommy believed her when she said it.
Oh, she knew. She knew. She knew where she got those drugs from. She claimed she didn't know when she killed those guys. But people don't carry that kind of product and not be somebody.
Right.
Yeah, right. I mean, do you have any predictions? Did y'all see the trailer for next week?
I did. Oh my goodness.
I saw Gloria.
From who?
I saw Flynn confront Gloria.
Yeah, but did you see Gloria kissing Vic?
Yeah. I did see that. Well, you know what? Because he said Tommy wasn't coming around. So I guess she's like,
It looked like they were outside though. That's my point. So that's why I'm trying to figure out, like, maybe that's how he figured out that, the dad found out. I don't know. But did he really stand up and say, no, this is who I'm going to be with?
Well, we saw in the trailer that he was telling her, he was like, you're not the person that my son is going to be waking up to. That's not the face he's going to be looking into. So I was like, yikes.
I don't know. What they say, once you go black, you don't go back.
Right.
That up.
And we didn't even touch on the fact that Walter also confronted Tommy. Right. Gloria next week, but he also stepped to Tommy too. Like, you pulling my son into your mess. And Tommy let him know, like, listen, your son wants to be in this mess.
And maybe I'm stepping him up.
They're making a huge mistake not trying to find out who Tommy is, because that's a huge mistake.
Right.
Yeah.
And as far as Gloria is concerned, she's slipping down on my list. I had her up there at number 1.
Why? Because you look good.
Right. I think it was clear from what she was saying that she always had feelings for Vic anyway. He just wasn't willing to fight for her. So I guess she figured, you ain't willing to fight for me. I'm moving on.
Listen, it's the decision that every woman has to make when you've been with a man, you've given your all, you're at a point where you're like, look, do or die, do or roll out.
And he's talking about running away to be with her. I mean, he's not trying to stand tall. So she was like, okay, I'm gonna see what
I got to make a decision for me. I still love you.
Right.
I want to be with you. But
she said in one of the episodes, she said, I love you. She said, but you're not ever going to step away from your dad. So she was trying to do what
I'm going to make it short. And I'm going to paint a picture for you, Tiffany, that I know you can appreciate the artwork. She is fooling around with Vic and warning Vic. She's warning Vic to step off from a syndicate, an organization that would get them both killed if he did what she wants him to do. And because he's not doing it in the, wait a minute,
So
because
she told him it was over.
wait a second, because he's not doing it in the fashion that she seems or thinks that is appropriate, which is getting them both killed. She now is fooling around with Tommy and getting Tommy's feelings involved. And so she's forcing Vic's hand, just as Tasha forced Ghost's hand in staying in the business. Now, in one sense, that one wants the other one out, the other one wanted the other one in, but it's this self-destruction of forcing your man to do something that he can't afford to do at the point in time that you want him doing.
But my thing is, can you walk away? I get that but if she says, okay, I can't deal with this, then I'm out.
Then be out. That's
well,
it.
he needs to leave her alone because
Well,
he's trying to make her stay in a situation.
She's not messing with her. I think a little bit
you saw
of
her
her.
kissing him.
I think a little bit. She wants to be with him, but not in that way. But I think a little bit of her did what she did with Tommy, knowing that it would push him towards doing what she's always. Sometimes men need a little bit of push. And sometimes, because their feelings get all, like you said, they got feelings, right?
Yeah,
all I'm saying is, all we gotta do is let you know that, look, if you don't do what needs to be done, I'm cutting it off. And guess what? And I'm gonna mess with you. I'm gonna do it with this guy that you have this beef with.
And she got needs. And she asked for the key back. She was like,
oh my God,
give my key.
You know what?
We ain't together no more.
That whole thing was strategic. It was all strategic. And it proves our point because they were kissing and the father confronted her. So something went down where he stood up. So we just have to wait and see for the next episode.
She's a fool.
Yeah.
Because
and now the father's all in it.
And
who wants to deal with that type of mess?
Walter will kill her. He will.
Right. That's all the more reason for her to keep it pushing.
She should have stepped.
She should move on, right? And but I think that's what she's trying to do. Vic is not trying to let her move on. He was stalking outside of her restaurant, her bar and stuff. He's been pulling up. He's been buying gifts.
I agree with you guys. I think she wants him to stay. I think she wants to be with him in the way that she.
Oh, she does. No, I do think she has feelings for him. I know, but if she is trying to move on, he's not trying to let her move on either.
Well, neither one of them really. He's just been scared of his dad.
Okay,
and that's a problem.
That's
a problem, and that's why I was calling him a punk.
Here's my prediction: in the next episode or 2, it's going to be R.I.P. Gloria.
In episode 5, you think so?
Or 6, it's going to be R.I.P. Gloria.
It's possible. It's very possible that before this season is over, she can get it.
And that may be what pushes Vic to kill his dad.
Exactly, because Vic already. Walter,
Vic loves her.
And he really does love her. I do believe.
Walter is seeing all this blackness into his organization, and he's believing that it's their fault that Victor is the way he is. So R.I.P. Gloria. Episode 5, no more than 6.
That's a good prediction, I think.
I don't know.
That's a very good prediction. Do you think that Diamond or Jannard will make it out of this season?
I don't know about Jannard. Diamond's got to stay.
Yeah, Diamond will stay. Jannard, no. He's out.
I'm wondering too.
He's out.
Okay.
I'm waiting for my next boss move from Lilliana.
Huh.
She's gonna give us something else, and I'm gonna be like, "See, I told you."
Yeah,
so Lilliana gets the spot game ball then.
Yeah,
Lilliana does.
Throw her the ball, Ron.
So who do we say gets the hands this week? Who gets the hands?
I don't know if anybody gets the hands this week. Everybody seemed to. They were who they were, and as you said, Vic did come around. He saved Tommy's life, so that's worth.
Oh no, we give Jannard the hands.
No, Jannard's been Jannard. So, I expect Jannard didn't do anything this week that really made me upset. We learned something.
Unless he was the one that snitched and called the cops.
I think he snitched. I think he and Elijah snitched.
That just makes.
I was disappointed to see that he also on coke, even though it seemed like
But here's the
everybody.
thing.
Tommy, Lilliana.
If he did call the cop, by the time Elijah made the phone call, the cops were already there. So in theory, that phone call was late, because had it just less than a minute, maybe 2 minutes later, they would have.
Elijah made the phone call to Diamond to cover his bases.
But
They
that was.
didn't make the call.
Well, what I'm saying is
before
the
that.
cops were already there before they can even pull off.
But
So-
why did all of the cops follow Liardi's? Did y'all notice
That's
that?
what I said. I thought that too. I actually had that in my notes, and I should have said
It was more than one cop car.
They followed. Yeah, they followed the Yardies and Vic
And they
all
saw
them.
them. They saw them.
But I
I'm
guess
wondering if Seamus, if that was because of him. Did
it has to
Seamus?
be. It has to be, because, like I said, 2 minutes more and the Yardies would have been there discussing a deal with Tommy, Vic, and
Diamond.
Diamond. So you might be right, but there's something wrong with that timing. Because
I'm telling you, they snitched. They snitched, and I don't know. Maybe when Seamus or whatever saw Vic there, then maybe he instructed them to follow them. Maybe he spared them since he's on the payroll.
He would have had to do that on, he would have had to have done that on radio, and he didn't radio anybody. He just looked.
I mean, we don't know that.
Well, we have to assume that he radioed.
I mean, we didn't see it on screen, but he might have,
But
because then afterwards he confronted Vic
Well, yeah, asking what the hell he was being. Why was he there in the first?
while he was there, right?
Right. So maybe it was a call on what I don't know. That right there.
All of that was suspect to me.
It was suspect.
Because even Vic said, you should have been the one to call me and tip me off.
Mhm.
So
Right.
there was something off about that.
Right. That's why I think Jannard and them had something to do with it. I do. I think in his quest to take Diamond down, I think he tipped the cops off. I mean, I do.
Well, that will certainly ruin the idea that Jannard gives a hoot whether he goes back to jail or not, because he was 2 minutes out.
Mm-hmm.
Couple minutes more, and Jannard and Diamond would have been back in handcuffs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he would have. And I think that might have spooked Diamond too about doing the mission with Tommy, because he came that close to going back in. I think that was the other thing that was like, nah, I can't do this with you. I'm fresh out.
Yeah, exactly. Give me at least 2 months.
Right,
Right.
right. So, yeah, this was a good discussion. We're happy to have Utopia back. And guys, she is a excellent cook. She, I should say chef. She makes sweet potato. I'm sorry that we are doing this virtually, because she usually brings us her amazing mini sweet potato pies.
Mhm.
And she has a multi-purpose seasoning and things. And before we go, I wanted you to shout out your website
Yes.
and everything, so the viewers can.
We just launched an all-purpose seasoning. She's Got Flavor on Instagram, TikTok, everywhere you can find me at She's Got Flavor. And then you can purchase the seasoning on she'sgotflavor.com. And I got to pop out a bottle, right? That's the bottle right there.
Yeah, I followed one of your recipes for the Super Bowl, and I made the crab egg rolls with the lemon aioli sauce. Came out good.
that went viral. That was so good. That was
it was good. It was.
So she is a connoisseur. She's not just a content creator. Y'all got to go check her out.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't know what you're missing until you know.
And you see, she has great commentary too. That's why we've had her on our show so many times. But anyway, I think we've discussed everything that we need to discuss. Tierra will be back next week. And please follow us on all of our social media. We're on IG, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. And we have recaps on Ozark. We have recaps on Snowfall. And coming this March, we'll be doing recaps on Atlanta. And we have other things coming too. We have some surprises in store for y'all too. So make sure you subscribe and follow us on YouTube. Click the notification bell so you can you can find out whenever we have new content dropping. And I think that's about it, y'all.
That sounds good to me. I think we can put a pin in it right here.
All right.
Hey guys.
Out of touch with my feelings, dressing appearances. Feeling more solid about who the man in the mirror is. I reach for hearts through the speaker box to connect with strangers. Painting the page with the language, but off the mic I barely speak it all. I seldom see a flaw, bitch, I need it all. Shook by the way life is lately. I feel the earth pirouette, I'm dazed like I'm seeing stars. Got them all on the wave, it's more than just words to a page. Just feel like I'm hosting a read-along, and I speak in tongues. No translation, I'm out the bottle, I'm grieving, leaving. The beat needed CPR, I'm disconnected. I feel the pressure, I need acceptance. I'm from the crevice, where all my homies on something special. They subtle flexing, but still they hella selfless. Chasing a bag, but it's good, they don't need the frame.